What if I just peed myself? Okay, whatever floats your boat. I don't know. It was like, oh my God. Real intense, you guys. That can happen. Like, it can happen fast. Just a second. Can you just call Lindy? And I'm texting. Contraction. Okay, a second. I will die. Now. I will die. There might have been some cuss words happening. Oh, okay. Oh my God. I would have taken fentanyl from somebody on the street at that. I love you all so much. Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to tell you all about Paxton's birth story. As most of you know, I'm an ObGyn and mom to 4. Paxton is our youngest and he was born about 2 months ago by C-section. In this video, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into what it's like to be an ObGyn on the other side, having a baby, and maybe a confession about something that I did during my labor, which was questionable and I would never recommend to my patients. Seriously, don't do this. So Pax is our 4th baby and I was 38 weeks and a few days pregnant, and we were planning on doing a C-section on Friday when I was 39 weeks. My other babies have been C-sections. I've talked a little bit about their deliveries on my blog, which I will link in the description. It was evening time, the kids were in bed. I just wasn't feeling well. I hadn't slept well the whole pregnancy. I finally laid down around 11 and I felt Pax move, like a big movement, and then water everywhere. And I was in my bed. Gross. Yes. So I get up and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I wake up my husband like, I think my water just broke. And he's like, oh yeah. I'm like, no, really, like, I think my water broke. That means we have to have a baby. Well, we don't have any family in town. And so I called my mom, who lives about an hour and a half away, a little bit less than that. And I told her, and she's like, all right, I'll head that way. And I'm like, well, wait, what if it's not really my water? Like, what if I just peed myself? I mean, that happens. It happens all the time. People come in and they think their water broke and the baby just kicked them in the bladder. What if that is what is going on? And then I'm like paranoid, like, oh my God, I'm going to be the ObGyn who goes to triage and they're like, Dr. Jones, your water's not broken. You just peed yourself. It's a very common occurrence in pregnancy, but like, I don't know. At the time, all I could think is like, I don't want to be that ObGyn who doesn't know what water breaking is. It was clearly my water. When I had Milo, his delivery was very scary and I had an emergency C-section. I was really nervous, and at the time, all I could think is, I need this baby on the monitor so I know everything is okay. And I told my husband, like, I'm just gonna go to the hospital. And he's like, you look like you're hurting a little bit. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm only contracting every 6 or 7 minutes and they're not that bad. I'm just gonna drive to the hospital. When my mom gets here, you can come and meet me there. It'll be fine. Okay, whatever floats your boat, you're the doctor. Backing out the driveway, I'm like, ooh, that was really a good one. That one kind of hurt, like, it'll be all right. I get to the stop sign at the end of our street and I like had to put the car in park, like, oh my gosh, that was a really good one. Okay, we're gonna do this. And then I have like a contraction. If you've ever had a baby, you know, like there's contractions and then there are contractions. I knew it was real. I was like, oh my God, that is a contraction. I would have taken fentanyl from somebody on the street at that point, like, oh my God, make this stop. So then I'm like, oh my gosh, I really need the baby on the monitor because now I'm really contracting a lot. I've had 2 C-sections. I need to make sure this baby's okay. In actuality, not an emergency and not an excuse to drive yourself to the hospital in the middle of the night while you're in labor. Bad idea, bad plan, don't do it. There, I said it. I confess, I did that. It was a bad idea. Anyway, let's get past this because we really need to move on and stop talking about my bad decisions in my own labor. I get to the hospital, I pull into the parking lot and I put the car in park, and then I get out and like in the middle of the parking lot, like, oh my gosh, okay, all right, that was a good one. I'm going in. I decide I'm gonna go by all the normal procedures. I'm not gonna bypass anything or use my badge to get anywhere special. I'm gonna go to the ER, I'm gonna check in, I'm gonna do all the normal stuff. So I walk in and I get in line and there are like 4 people in front of me in the ER line. And I'm like, all right, another one. I'm breathing through it. We're gonna be good. Just fine. Just a minute, please. Okay. The guy in front of me turns around and he's like, I really think you should probably go first. Why don't you just jump the line? You go up there to that window. I'm like, thank you. You are a saint. So I walk up to the window. I'm like, oh, here's my name. Here's my information. I'm here because I am in labor and just a second. Can you just call L&D and tell them I'm here, please? Okay. And the lady's like, what baby number is it? And let me just preface this with, we ask people that as a judgment of, one, are they truly in labor? And two, how fast is this happening? First babies usually don't come very fast. Second babies can be hit or miss. Third and fourth babies, if you've had vaginal deliveries, that can happen. Like, it can happen fast. Like, baby. Not usually that fast. I'm exaggerating. But anyway, so the lady's like, what baby number is it? And I said, 4. Well, it is my 4th baby, but I've never had a vaginal delivery. I've had C-sections. And so my baby was not just going to like come in the ER. But she didn't know that because I left it out. Not on purpose, but because by the time I answered, again. So she's like, oh, okay. I'm gonna call L&D right now. Like, thank you. She's like, you can wait right over there. So I walk over to the hallway and I'm like leaning on the edge of the hallway bar. I'm like, oh my God. This is real intense, you guys. Don't play around with labor. So my nurse, God bless her, walks through the door, and I love all the nurses I work with, but I really love her. And after this moment, I loved her even more. So she walks through the door, and at the same time, this like lady from the waiting room walks up to me and she's like, oh my gosh, do you need to sit down? And I'm like, I'm okay. I'm good. Thank you. And in my head, I'm thinking like, no, don't make me sit down. Please don't make me sit down. Nobody make me sit down. I just need to stand up. And so my nurse is like, okay, do you need a wheelchair? I'll get you a wheelchair. I'm like, no, I don't want a wheelchair. I want to walk. But you're just going to have to stop with me when I contract because I'm good between contractions, but I like to stop and contract and then we keep going. So she's like, all right. So we're walking through the hallways, stopping to contract, and there might have been some cuss words happening. Let's be honest. As I say in almost every video, what am I if not honest on the internet? So we get up to labor and delivery and we walk in, and my nurse had to like remind me how to get there. Like I couldn't even think straight. So we walk in and I see all of the night nurses who I absolutely adore standing in line like for me to go in like a tunnel into my room and like, yay, baby Pat's coming. And the elevator doors open and I see this and my nurse is like, clear the way, guys, clear the way. She said the F word 4 times since we left the ER. This is real. We need her in a bed. Like, oh my God. I love you all so much. God bless the L&D nurses. So we get in the room and I am still just like banging out contractions. And I told Cheryl, my nurse, I'm like, you got to get me on the monitor. Please get me on the monitor. All I want is to hear this baby's heartbeat. I am so scared because last time was so scary. And she's like, yeah, let's get the baby on the monitor. And so she got him on the monitor and then it's kind of all a blur after that. And anesthesia is going through the consent form in a perfectly wonderful and acceptable way that you should always do with patients, like informed consent. But in my head, all I can think is, oh my gosh, the more you talk about this, the more time goes by and I need pain medicine right this second. Like, you have got to give me pain medicine right this second. I will die. And so I'm like, okay. Anesthesia doctor who I love and work with all the time, just let me sign it. I know the risk of an epidural and a spinal and intubation if I needed it, and please just let me sign this and give me pain meds. But my laboring mind could only think about, give me pain medicine now. I will die because I'm a wuss. I am a wuss and I want pain medicine. I don't believe in hurting. For the record, I can support anyone to any type of labor that they would like. I just never want to have a no pain medicine labor as long as I live. Don't want it. My doctor came in and she kind of wanted to expedite things because of last time and because of my history of 2 C-sections. And so I called my husband and he's like, your mom just got here and we're about to leave. And I was like in tears because I'm still hurting, which totally freaked him out because I couldn't think straight and I couldn't talk straight. And he didn't know if something was wrong with the baby or with me. And he was scared and he's not medical. And so then I like totally freaked him out, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry, honey. I didn't mean to. I couldn't think straight. It was hurting. And so he, like, when my mom got there, he rushed to the hospital, came in and found us just in time to go back to the OR. And we went back to the OR, and it's all kind of a blur at that point until after the spinal was in. But I know they took me to the OR, moved me to a table, and the anesthesiologist put my spinal in, and then I was like, golden. I'm like, that was magic. I love you. I always joke with my patients, like, I deliver their baby, like, here's your baby, yay! And they're like, where's that anesthesiologist? I just love her. She's so wonderful. She just, this whole thing, she's wonderful. I'm like, yay, your baby! I just really love the anesthesiologist. Just kidding. But they do deserve a ton of credit because I just really love the anesthesiologist and the anesthesia that he provided. My doctor comes in, my other partner who works with us came in to help her. They delivered the baby and I got to watch him coming out, and not really coming out. If you've ever had a C-section, you're laying on your back, you can't like see the surgery, but I could see him like being born, and then they cut the cord and I got to hold him immediately, which I've never gotten to do in any of my deliveries. And I just want to say like such a big thank you to the nurses and the baby nurse and just everybody who was involved in our delivery and helped to make that happen. Delivering a baby or having surgery or doing anything as a patient can be very scary, even when you know what's going on, and maybe more so when you know what's going on. I don't know. I'm gonna get all mushy. Sometimes when you do this every day, people think like maybe it's not special anymore. And it certainly becomes like a little bit different, but every time I deliver a baby, and then especially your own deliveries, it's just so cool. Like it's so magical and a little bit scary, but it's special every time. It's especially obviously incredibly different and incredibly just humbling and wonderful when it's your own baby. But I also just really love being involved in that moment for so many people all the time. Like it's just, I don't know. It's cool. My job is super cool. Both my jobs. My job as a doctor is super cool, and my job as a mom is super cool. And I love that I can do both of those. We were taken to the recovery room. It was dark. We kept our music going. I got to just cuddle with him and try to feed him and just love on him and get to know him. And we decided on a name for him, and it was just so perfect. So thank you to everybody who was involved in our delivery, who made it special for us. My doctors who like came in at the drop of a hat. I just really, really appreciate everybody going out of their way to make this wonderful for us. Our nurses were wonderful. Our postpartum nurses were wonderful. Our labor nurses, our tech in the surgery, my doctors, everybody. Like, thank you guys. Thank you so much. And thank you for putting up with my complete inability to handle contraction pain. And don't tell anyone that I drove to the hospital myself while in labor, because that's not a good decision. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that birth story. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. If you're not following us on Instagram, head on over to Instagram, MamaDoctorJones, and you can catch a little bit more of our day-to-day life there. I really appreciate all of the support and love here on our new channel. Thank you. Wait, don't forget to subscribe.